Hello, Rodrigo. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, Claudia, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm really excited about our conversation today. And for those who are tuning in, Rodrigo is co-founder and CEO of DGB. And we will be talking today about his experience at the Endeavor 2024 Outliers Retreat. For those who don't know what an outlier is, Endeavor each year recognizes the best performing, fastest growing companies from the Endeavor global community, and they get the recognition of Endeavor Outliers. So, the aim is to shine a spotlight on exceptional companies being built in unexpected places and to curate an exclusive community where founders can connect, share experiences, and just help each other on that journey of scaling their companies because they're going pretty fast. So I think there's a lot of hurdles that you have to overcome, but also a huge amount of opportunities. So this is a curated group that meets once a year, and this year, Rodrigo was part of the retreat, of the Outliers Retreat. So I want him to share with us a bit of his experience. So welcome, Rodrigo.
Good. Thank you, Claudia. Glad to be here.
So let's get started. Tell me, what was your reaction when you entered the Endeavor Outlier program this year? How did you feel?
Oh, no, that was great. So I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? Me? I don't feel I deserve it, but I'll tell you, I'm so proud to be nominated for that group.
Yeah. Well, you do deserve it because you earned it. You worked so hard for it. So
Thank you.
we're really honored that you're part of it and that you're part of the
I
Endeavor
have to
Man.
tell you, I was super proud to become an Endeavor entrepreneur, but now being part of the Outliers group, I was not really expecting that. So I really much appreciate it. And thanks for the recognition.
Of course. Well, you made it yourself. So you and your co-founders worked really hard and you earned it. So then let's deeper on the experience. Tell us, this was your first Outlier retreat. What were your expectations going into it? And, did anything evolve during or after by the end of the retreat? How was that?
Yeah, I have to be honest. I didn't expect much because I didn't know it, right? So I felt I was so distant to be an outlier that I didn't even know what to expect. So I've never been part of a retreat of any kind. And remember, Claudia, you invited me to other retreats as well, and I couldn't make it, right? So I've never been part of it. I have to tell, I don't know what to expect. Well, getting there, I was a bit shy at first, but I quickly engaged with everybody after a warm welcome from the Endeavor team that was there
Yeah.
in San Francisco. So uh, everybody there was so open and interested in what I had been doing so far. So the conversations went really smooth. So I met people from very different cultures and places. And it was amazing to discover we share the same issues, the same feelings, and same frustrations as entrepreneurs from all over the world. People from Latin America, people from Middle East, people from Africa, Asia, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia. I can name it many, many different countries that have never been there. And talking to those people with coming from such different places was a great experience for me.
Well, that's great. Well, that's where you really truly feel the diversity of our global network, right? Meeting people from all over the world and just sharing the experiences. And, you all go through similar experiences when you're scaling your companies, right? Similar challenges, etc. So it's great that Endeavor is able to connect people from around the world. So, in what ways did the retreat reinforce the power of the Endeavor network, which I just mentioned? Like, what were your impressions of the founders participating in it when you spoke to them? How did you feel that you're part of this global community?
You know, there's nothing like real human connections in person, face to face, not the Zoom calls that we're in. I know that's pretty much needed, right? But it's great to be face to face. So I met people building fintechs in Latin America. B2B SaaS in Africa. I also met an entrepreneur who was doing space transportation in Europe. Yes, last mile space transportation. Crazy. People doing huge networks of food distribution in the Middle East. It was crazy. It was amazing the amount of people that I've met there. Was crazy also to watch Reed Hastings from Netflix talking as we were in his living room. He was even doing jokes that he was laughing out loud there. So this is the power of the Endeavor network by examples, right? So everybody was open and willing to share despite their success. People entrepreneurs with very high level success in their careers, built great stuff. I learned so much, and I feel that I have contributed to them as well. And this is a great feeling I have. So I'm feeling now that I'm part of an elite group of normal people. Entrepreneurs, sometimes I see them as superheroes, doing those great stuff, but they're normal people out there, as crazy as it sounds, right? So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Well, that's an excellent way of putting it. And it's true, like you're all sometimes being perceived as superheroes and sometimes as crazy because you're doing so much, right? But you are just normal people with a passion to build, and that's why you're entrepreneurs. And that's so great that you feel that you're part of this amazing community. And it's hard to explain Endeavor sometimes to entrepreneurs, and I feel like that's why it's important for you to be expressing how you feel in this group of outliers, because I hope that one day most of our entrepreneurs are able to make it. So yeah, we want to relieve a bit about the experience that you lived there and tell us where it was, because just to give a little bit of context, visualization, where it was, the setting where it was, and then share some of the highlights or one of the best moments during the Outliers Retreat.
Yeah, that was, well, the venue was a kind of hotel made for conferences only, but in the middle of the redwood forest. Beautiful place, one of the most beautiful places I have ever been. So a lot of nature all around, close to San Francisco and California. So that was a great venue, definitely, for it. And talking about the highlights of it, the overall experience, as soon as I arrived in the venue, there was this letter from Paulo Veras. For those that doesn't know Paulo built the first Brazilian unicorn, which is 99 Taxi, which is the main Uber competitor in Latin America. And today, Paulo is a board member of DGB. And there was a letter he wrote for every outlier attending the conference. And that letter was truly a highlight that I read alone in my room, right? And reading through it, I would tell, it was really emotional. It seemed it was written for me. And I believe that was the same feeling that all other entrepreneurs had when they read that letter too. So you see, talking about the experience, even the small things was so carefully prepared, like this letter. That was a big highlight. That was great. Everything adds to this experience, right? Another thing that I loved was to meet Reed Hastings in person. He was talking about how he built Netflix and all the stories, the entrepreneurial stories. That's no different than the stories that we are facing too, right? So of course, in another scale or in another time, maybe 20 years ago, but the reality, much of the issues and the challenges we face are pretty much the same. And he's a very easygoing guy. He did a lot of jokes, so everybody was laughing. So that was definitely a highlight as well. So I also love the outdoors experience with the group, and the happy hours by the fireplaces with lots of wine. So there's no better way to get to know people, right? So all of these have created really connections for life for me.
Well, it sounds amazing. Great, inspiring founders and around a fireplace in the woods. That sounds incredible. And Paolo, double meaning for the letter because he is on your board and he's been a supporter of DGB and he's an Endeavor Entrepreneur Outlier. So, what a great gift for you. I'm glad. Thanks for sharing. And how were you feeling, just during the 3 days of the retreat and after the retreat when you left? Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I felt
I
like,
love to talk about emotions, so that's why I'm
yeah,
asking, how were you feeling?
you know me, right? Yeah. So I'll tell you. So I felt like I was doing something for myself this time, you know, for me, for Rodrigo, and all the struggles I have with this loneliness, which is being a CEO, right? So I was there learning how to exercise this networking muscle, right? Realizing that others are going through the same challenge I face, and that I don't need to go through all of this alone, right?
Yeah.
People did it. People went through it. And sometimes we don't want to show our vulnerability out there. And sometimes not you can't simply show to the team, and you have to be, that tough hero. And that was a place where we could share, right? So, and also almost like therapy, group therapy with everybody. So I had an issue, someone had the same issue, another person went through it and solved that issue in a good way. So providing insights on how to overcome that obstacle, right? So that was great. And after the retreat, I immediately shared my learnings and insights with the team, right? And we're applying it at DGB right now, right? So yeah, that's how I feel after the retreat.
That's great. And that's exactly the power of our network, right? And just connecting with people and learning that some go through the same challenges and learning from them to avoid it and not spending, reinventing the wheel. So I feel that everybody learns from each other, and that's why we constantly say at Endeavor, we want founders to pay it forward. And that's the multiplier effect, that everybody helps each other. So I know that there's a bit like several activities that you could choose from, but in our podcast, you mentioned that you liked spending time in the sea. What was the adventure that you chose between surfing, mountain biking, hiking, sailing, kayaking? I know there were many. What did you choose? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you guys know me, right? So I ended up choosing sailing. I own a boat, and I love to be at the sea here in South Florida. So I spend a lot of my free time cruising the intracoastal here in Miami and the region, right? So, and I chose sailing. Sailing is a group exercise and something that I want to learn more about. So, having people together, okay, let's set up sailing. Let's, all that peace that comes from the wind against the sails and making the boat to cruise. So it was a great experience. So I ended up choosing sailing. It really looked like me, and I like that kind of experiences. You can choose things that you like, and when you choose things that you like, you will find other people that chose the same.
Yes.
So we start having this kind of connections, right? So it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What were those meaningful connections that you made with some of your peers, during the sailing, and then other connection, professional, personal, that you found by talking to them? Like, can you talk about the interactions?
Yeah, there was a lot of great experience beyond sailing, right? So one of the experiences we had to hike in pairs with another entrepreneur. So we're a pair, and talking about one challenge we have in the company. Each one would share their challenge and how we would overcome that situation. And doing hiking in the middle of nature and talking about your challenges, this is a great way to build connections, right? So another activity, we had those facilitate group discussions in the outdoors. So it was not inside the room. We have to walk around the property right? Find a place, find a spot that would feel good. And there was many places. And now there was this facilitator was helping everybody to be more open and sharing. So we start talking in a group of 6, 7 people, different entrepreneurs with different backgrounds. So just start sharing, right? So we had many interactions. I met one of entrepreneurs. He helped me to define better OKRs, and he told me how he has been struggling on defining good OKRs for his company for 5 years, and now he has this new method that he shared with me. That is exactly what I needed. It was the same struggle. I had another entrepreneur, this guy from Italy. He gave me great insights on how to manage the board, how to improve the relationship, and how to deal with it. So it was great. And the connections were so good that even when I was coming back to Miami, my flight was delayed, as it always been, right? So it's always the case. The flight was
They're all
delayed.
delayed nowadays. Yeah.
Oh, it's all delayed, the rains here. So yeah, even that experience was good because there were other entrepreneurs in the same flight, and we were waiting together, and just having a good time, waiting for our flight. So I believe that those are friendships that will last for life now.
That's great. Yeah, and that's the power of just beyond networking. It's just really making meaningful connections when you're vulnerable and open to your emotions and your challenges, because you realize that all of you guys are going through similar challenges, or everybody has challenges. So let's talk about that. You touched a little bit about it, during the breakout sessions that you had, like you spoke about the current state of DGB and how to overcome these challenges, but share a little bit about some of those conversations that you had.
Okay. Well, growth comes with many challenges, and especially when things are not going well. And I said it's lonely to be a CEO, especially, navigating through this uncertainty where we live in. So there's so many uncertainty when you're growing a company, right? So you have new structures, you have to grow revenue, you have new team members, you have to deal with so many new issues that you were not dealing before, right? So it's difficult to navigate through it. So sharing challenges and hearing from others made me really more aware of our company stage, right? So, and sometimes it's that there are stages of this growth that people need to go through, crossing some chasms, not just one chasm, but many chasms in the way, right? So, but
something at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. In the end, many of the issues are the same, and others have already solved them, right? So that's how it, all this sharing, it's really about sharing and talking. The experience of the retreat are, yes, we do have some keynotes, some good sessions, but the great value is between this exchange among peers and people that went through the same.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. And that's where you learn the most, right? And you save so much time also, because you are, within your own world of your company, and you're trying to solve this challenge, and sometimes you don't find, the exit of this maze that you're in. And then you hear someone, oh, I found the exit. I know how to get out of that. So that's amazing that you were able to share some of those experiences. And that the retreat, how did, being there and the peers that support you as a founder and CEO of DGB, how do you think this experience helped you, for the next phase of DGB? And did you gain any tools or resources that will, help you improve in your leadership skills as the CEO?
Yeah, exactly. So the retreat is a mind-breaking experience, right? So, but it's also a pause in this fast-paced routine of growing a company. So it's a weekend, an extended weekend, so we can do it, right? We can get off our work and just be there, right? And it's a much needed time to learn, to breathe, and to connect. I'm walking out with great leadership insights from everyone, from Reed Hastings, from my peers. So, and I'm walking out with even with new methods on how to define my company's objectives, as I told you about all the conversations about OKRs and so on, right? So there are things that I can implement right now in my company, and others that's helping me to mature as a leader, right? And the way I usually, take coach from my environment, it's by listening, by being close to people that did, and understanding and seeing how they act, seeing how they execute their day-to-day tasks, and then I learn from it. So watching people there, talking, sharing, being vulnerable, even emotional, many times, not one time, many times, right? That was for me what was mind-breaking for. Really hallucinating how to do things like this, right?
Yeah. No, imagine feeling the pressure on your shoulders,
Oh.
and then you decompress when you realize, oh my God, I'm not alone, and I can learn from all these people. It's almost like your body is able to release some of that stress, and you can breathe.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So it's that heavy weight that get released from your shoulders by being in a great place, connected to nature, with great people around, great experiences. And just thank you, Endeavor, for that.
And most importantly, it's a safe space, safe to share, right? Because we always say Endeavor is a network of trust, and people that are part of our network, they're passionate about what they're building, but they're also passionate about the community that is within Endeavor. So how would you persuade other Endeavor Outliers to join the next retreat, and also Endeavor entrepreneurs to aspire to become Endeavor Outliers?
By sharing this experience, right? All this experience I had, and working hard to be nominated again. Right.
Okay.
I want to be in Portugal next year. So for those that doesn't know, next time we'll be in Portugal. I want to be in that one too.
And you will.
But I hope that sharing this experience I had with this Outlier retreats can really persuade others to be part of this great network, which is Endeavor. I'm passionate about it. I've been working with Endeavor for a long time now, been part of many, many, many programs. And I have to tell you, that was a big part of my company growth and also my personal growth. So
I'm super happy to hear that. I am happy to hear that, because yes, we've been supporting you along the way, and we understand that it's not an easy, journey, but we're here with you, Rodrigo, along, every step of the way. And so I'm so proud of you and your co-founders for what you've done and how you've scaled DGB and making it to Endeavor Outliers. And I really hope that all entrepreneurs that are outliers go next year to Portugal, and that you go again. And most importantly, what you just said at the end, that other entrepreneurs in our community here in South Florida that tune into our video and our conversation get inspired to join Endeavor. And I always explain to them how incredible this network is. But you have to experience it to know the magic of Endeavor. You have to be part of it.
Exactly. It's hard to explain, but being there, you will understand.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Rodrigo, for just sharing your time with me and telling us a little bit about the Outliers Retreat. And I really hope that next year you can go to Portugal, and maybe I'll join you.
Let's do it. See you.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Great.